Welcome to the Finjan Show, and thank you so much for joining us today. For the past few weeks, I've been asked several times to please explain the Resilient Entrepreneur Canvas or the program. The program itself, as many of you know, is over a few weeks, so generally speaking, 7, and you can do it self-paced on your own. But let's talk about the actual canvas. And this is what many of you can get on your own today for free by going just to our website and downloading the Resilient Entrepreneur Canvas. This canvas was discovered through the process of first launching last year a call for all the entrepreneurs all around the world to call us. And we had almost 40,000 entrepreneurs that were touched. And what we did, we learned from them what those entrepreneurs did to keep their businesses forward. Many were not only entrepreneurs, but they were leaders within the community. And then we started reflecting, what did we hear back in 2008? What did we hear back in 2000s? What did we hear back when we were running, working maybe in war zones? What are some of those entrepreneurs and leaders do and did to keep their businesses moving forward? And what we discovered, there was this 5 pillars, I'm going to call them, that created this canvas. And I'm going to walk you through some of those, I'm going to call foundations that could maybe help you unfold what you could do to keep your business moving forward today. Now, this didn't happen overnight, and it was a process. So some of the things that someone might have told us might have said ABC, but then we reflected back as what didn't they tell us and what do we know about them that could potentially help someone else learn how did this other person keep their business forward, but not yet mention it. So these were insights that we have gained from them allowing us to really be close to them and being aware of their businesses and what they're doing. And that really allowed us to really come up with this canvas. This is our 5th iterations of it. We started back in March. We modified it a little bit in June. We modified it again in September. We modified again in November. We modified again in March this year. So from last year, 2020, till this year, it's been modified a few times, and we'll continue to modify it to make sure that it's really addressing what we really heard and what we continue to hear from our entrepreneurs that we interact with. So what is the canvas is all about? The canvas is about these, I'm going to call them 5 pillars or 5 blocks, and each one of these blocks may have sub-blocks. So let's start with the first block. This is the mindset. What we've learned from observing these resilient entrepreneurs that kept their businesses moving forward despite what interruptions could happen. And by the way, what we went through last year, what we're still going through right now is a pandemic. It's not the first challenge, won't be the last challenge. It's any crisis that you might face. You might want to go back and reflect on this canvas. And for those who are just getting started, it might be an opportunity for you to reflect on this canvas to help you get started and move forward. Because a lot of times we've learned that many entrepreneurs may say, what I don't have, or I'm going to call them aspiring entrepreneurs. And what we found that many of the entrepreneurs that kept going asked the questions, what do I have now that I could start with today? So the first thing is mindset. And the mindset, what we learned is it was really broken into, now there are lots of other things around the mindset, but I'm going to break it up to 3 categories. The first one is entrepreneurship, so the opportunities and looking for opportunities and things of that nature. The second one is leadership and having to take the first step in something and moving forward. And the last thing is compassion, especially in the times of crisis. You might want to think about compassion and how you could relate to other people, whether customers, employees, partners, associates, and so on. So that's the first block. The second block, I'm going to call it self, being aware of yourself. And the first block within that block, I'm going to call them sub-blocks from the self, is me. And that's when you have to think about you yourself, right? First, you have to think, you got to acknowledge if you are in the middle of a challenge. It's okay to acknowledge it. Then it's okay to freak out. Now, I'm not going to tell you freak out for the next 2 days. I'm going to tell you, or 2 months or 2 years. I'm just saying, take a minute, freak out, move on, okay? Then you have to move to what I'm going to call actions. And this is where you have to make some things happen. And then you have to also make sure that you are checking the facts, because a lot of times when a time of crisis, people say things that's not necessarily true, or the sources that you're using are not necessarily correct information. So information source and who's saying it to whom is really important. Then you're going to look at around you and what's around you. And you're going to want to know, what can you leverage within what's around you? Your house, is there a place, or your apartment, or a friend? Is there a place that you could leverage? Can you start something from a different room? Do you have a desk that you can convert? Do you have a table that you could make a display, or can make a table for you to do some work? Think about that. You also want to think about what's around you. What can't you control? You need to let go of that. Stop worrying about what you cannot control. You cannot control if the shops are acquired by the state to be open or closed. You can't control that. But what you can control is what can you do with the products or service that you have to offer in a different way. Challenge is really our new opportunity. So if there's a challenge today, it could be potentially an opportunity. And then what you want to do is think about what can you repurpose within what you have at home that could be reused for business or for you to keep your business moving forward. And the last thing I want to say is you got to lead and move forward with what's around you, because you might find some friends that maybe not moving forward or taking a minute to be down. You need to lead and you need to move forward. So the first one is mindset. The second one is self. We'll be back after this short break. The third block, I'm going to call it the business block. And in this block, we're going to talk about in this canvas. And by the way, you could download this canvas, as I said, for free on our website. Just go to our International Strategic Management website, myisminc.com. And under the shopping carts or products, you could go and download this canvas for free. We made it available because we believe in making information available. Now, of course, if you want to buy a book or you want to take the course, it's a different story, and there are different levels that you could engage in that if that's something you want to do. But if you could figure out on yourself, here is the canvas of what entrepreneurs and resilient entrepreneurs specifically did to keep moving their business forward. So the third block is, I'm going to call it business. And under that, I'm going to have 4 sub-blocks. The first block is, what is it that I have today? This is to give you a chance to think about all the resources that you have, organizations that you belong to, associations, neighborhoods that you belong to, network that you belong to, all of those things. You want to think about all your product partners, time, prices, all the things that you have. You want to make a full long list of maybe also your customers. Now, if you are in the millions of the customers or thousands of customers, you want to think about one higher level, meaning maybe what sub-customers do you have? What higher level can you categorize them? Dentals, doctors. What can you come up with a way to make sure that you have categories? So first you want a list of what you have. What kind of cash do you have? What kind of cash do you need? Okay. Then you want to think about the second thing. So first sub block is what you have, list all the things that you have. Second block is what can you leverage? You may have a building that maybe you're not using all of it. Maybe you have access to a building that no one else is using, that maybe someone will let you use. Access to all these resources is a leverage, right? Training. Maybe you have access to training. You could upgrade a skill that you may have. You may be able to, repackage or repurpose some of the things that you may have. Maybe you were selling packages for, of hair care and skin care. Can you break it up? Or they were broken up. Can you package them? So you want to think about what can you leverage with what you already have. So what you have first, make a list. What can you leverage from what you have second? Third block is what can you offer? Now that you're starting to modify some things, can you offer some of this new product or service? Can you modify what you're offering now to start offering something different? Can you offer to a new customer, to a new segment? Can you offer to a new territory? Can you offer to a new customer that wouldn't buy from you before? Think about that as far as offer. And the reason why I want to say that, because once you start thinking about these offers, then you can start making what I call pilots. You could pilot this program. You could pilot this product. You could pilot this new service. And that's really the last 4 sub-pillar of this business pillar, which you want to test, you want to modify, now that you could pilot these programs or these products, get some feedback, be ready to change and modify. You package the hair and the skincare together. You learn that people only like the hair products. They just want shampoo and conditioner, body wash, but they're not interested in face care. Whatever that scenario is, think through it, right? What partners you may have that you could leverage right now. Can you leverage the partners that you have to start channeling this new product? You already have access to someone that could distribute your product to big stores. Can you now offer this new product or service? That's the 4 pillar of the business. And the last one is, I'm going to say the 5th pillar or the 5th block of this 5 canvas blocks is the moving forward. Moving forward is something that needs to happen, because without moving forward, no business can stay, no resiliency is happening. Moving forward is really all about the resiliency of what you have, what you leverage, what you offered, what you piloted, understanding of yourself, what's you and what's around you, and understanding what's your mindset is and how you look at things and how you move forward with things. As you move forward, you want to think about operations, hours, safety, security. Any crisis that you face will have these things in it. Time management. You maybe were able to spend before time with your operating. Now you may be having to spend time on strategy, attending different meetings, attending, filling out applications for grants. These are the things that you have to think through as you continue to move forward your business. And of course, the last thing, two things I'm going to say is communicating internally and communicating externally. These become key with moving forward, making sure that your community is engaged. I want to thank you for joining us today. And I'll also say that we will take one of these blocks for the next few times and break them up into these 10-minute segments that you could maybe learn about how you could take this mindset and break it down for you. How can you take this self and make it for you? How can you take this business and make it for you? How can you take this moving forward, make it to you? So thanks again for joining. Until then, have a great day.